Okay, so I'm going to play the demo of this game. Well, not really the demo, the tutorial I meant to say. And and most of the mistakes you see me making this game are mainly because I haven't played this game yet and I'm still getting used to the controls. Because driving a real truck is a little simpler than driving a truck in this game. Because like turn signals, for example, to using the turn signals while at the same time driving is very difficult in this game because you have to temporarily take your eyes off the screen to find the button that makes the turn signal work. And then you have to put it back on the screen really quickly. And if you don't do it fast enough, you're going to crash, which has happened before. That being said, most of the mistakes I make in this game are really only because of how difficult the controls are. But uh, there are a few mistakes I make on purpose, so I can show you things that you should not do in a truck. Anyway, the truck I chose in this game is the one that's the closest resemblance to the one I used to drive when I was a truck driver. I used to drive trucks for Warner Enterprises, and I used to drive on the Family Dollar account. Now, while I'm setting up this account, I'll tell you a few very interesting stories. The first story is of the worst insult I've ever heard a customer, call a truck driver. This truck driver, who was from another country, he told me that he made a delivery to this place, and the customer actually told him, "You should go back to the country you came from. You're not welcome here." And I'm like, seriously? Like, I don't understand why customers feel they have to be so mean. In fact, sometimes I think when you become a store manager, part of the things they tell you in training is be as rude and nasty as possible to every truck driver. Not sure why they would tell you that. That being said, truck drivers are actually told to be rude. My trainer actually told me to be rude, and he told me that if I wasn't rude, people were going to walk all over me, or they were going to try anyway. And at first, I thought he was just kidding, and I tried to be polite to the customers, but that didn't work too well. So I had to start being rude. Being rude, oddly enough, prevents them from being mean. Well, it doesn't really prevent them from being mean, but it basically tells them you can't talk to me any kind of way you want. I actually once had to tell a customer, for every insult you give me while I'm trying to make this delivery, I'm going to back up slower. And she still gave me a lot of insults before she realized that that I actually meant what I was talking about. Then when it got really really slow, like we're talking zero point 0.1 mile per hour backing, she finally stopped insulting me, and I said, "There, now was that so hard?" It's really sad that you actually have to do stuff like that to get the customers to stop insulting you. It just so I just don't understand what's wrong with them. Like they feel like just because they're the customer, they have permission to treat you like, well, to basically treat you like an idiot, talk to you any kind of way they want just because they're a customer. I really don't think that's fair. There have been some customers that I wish I could run over. So anyway, waiting for this game to load. I still don't know why there's no sound. There was sound when I was recording this, but for some reason the final product there's no sound in it. Uh, I probably gotta, look up why that would happen on this game. Okay, so right now I'm just reading the tutorial and basically trying to learn the controls. Okay, the graphics are actually very good on this game, and the physics aren't that bad either. Okay, so I usually I use the arrows to steer in this game, but I've had issues with that in the past, so I tried the mouse technique. That Since it's a different technique than what I've been doing, it will take some getting used to. Right now, I'm basically feeling how it works. It's actually pretty good. Now, another issue I had when driving the truck in this game This truck has way more gears than the trucks I used to drive. The trucks I drove only had 10 gears. And that's really all that I've been trained how to drive. So, and this truck has, I'm not sure how many, but a lot of gears. And that's a little confusing to me because I know that you start a truck in third gear when moving from a stop, but in a truck with more gears, it would probably be a higher gear that you'd be starting up in. You have to start in second gear on a truck that has 8 gears, apparently. Okay, speed bumps. Funny thing about speed bumps, one time I actually stalled a truck on one. Okay, so I'm making a left turn. I don't remember what happened here. I probably applied the parking brake by accident. What are you doing? Right now I'm just looking at the camera views. Okay, so I think I'm ready to start moving now. Checking the traffic to make sure it's safe, obviously. Okay, speed limit's 30 miles per hour. Following the directions of the GPS. Don't want to do that all the time, though. One time my truck GPS tried to lead me under a railroad bridge that I couldn't fit under. And I'm like, you must be trying to get me killed, aren't you? One time it told me to make a right turn onto a road that said weight limit 10 tons, and the truck was not empty. Even if it was empty, though, trucks weigh like 12 tons when they're empty. I actually don't remember because it's been a year since I've driven a truck, but I think they weigh 12 tons, somewhere between 12 and 15 tons when they're empty. But this one had cardboard in it, so it wasn't fully empty. So it was definitely more than 10 tons. So you still have to use your head when you're using GPS because it might lead you the wrong path. One time it tried to make me make a 90-degree right turn onto an alley that was more narrow than the actual truck, and I'm like, "What is wrong with you? What could possibly make you think I'm gonna fit down that road?" Sometimes the Google GPS was actually better than the truck GPS. With that being said, Google obviously doesn't understand that you're a truck that weighs 80,000 pounds and that you're 13 feet 6 inches high, so it too will lead you down the wrong way. Both Google and the truck GPS have issues with them, so you still have to be careful when you're using them. One truck driver told me that one time his truck GPS told him to make a right turn into a lake. So yeah, you really gotta be careful of that. One time, my GPS told me to make a right turn onto an abandoned off ramp on the highway, and this abandoned off ramp led to a bridge that had already been demolished, being replaced by another one. Then when I actually turned onto the correct bridge, it said GPS signal lost, and it took a while for it to figure out where I was. I actually think that GPS was outdated since it didn't realize that that bridge had already been demolished and that I was driving on a new one. Okay, the gear is too high and that's why I can't accelerate right now. Like I said, this truck has more gears than I'm used to, so yeah, it's learning progress. It would be way more difficult in real life though to drive a truck with more gears than the ones you would train to operate. You would need training on those types of vehicles before you operate them. As far as I know, they don't even make trucks with that many gears anymore. Most new trucks have 10 gears on them. So the next intersection is gonna have to make a right, it looks like. Post ad. Yeah, first time I saw that, I almost thought it was a FedEx truck. It looks so similar. What do you think you're doing? Don't you see me? That exact kind of thing happens in real life all the time. What happened there? I probably the mouse probably slipped or something. Sometimes it does that. Okay, I gotta make a right turn. It's a red light, but there's no sign that says you can't make a right turn on red. So you can. And in my opinion, it's actually easier to make a right turn with a truck when the light is red than when it's green. And this in this area, I dropped the mouse that I was using to steer, and then I crashed into the store. Okay, so you can add damaged company property and or equipment to my driving record now. It will be on my DAC report, which is the report that companies check before hiring someone. This accident, if it were real, would probably make it very difficult for me to get a job in the future, and it's very likely that I would either receive disciplinary action, for example, being put on probation, or I would actually straight up be fired after this. And one thing's for certain, I'm definitely going to be sent to the office after this accident. And I can tell them all I want. I dropped the mouse that I was using to steer, and then this happened. But they're not gonna, they're not gonna buy that. Okay, yeah, it's really hard to move the camera and steer at the same time. Of course, in real life, you can just turn your head around, no problem, when driving. But in this game, it's really difficult. Okay, making a left turn. Something really bad is gonna happen when I make it to this destination. I remember this. It's gonna go horribly wrong. The worst it could possibly go. And I've actually been in situations where something similar happened to me. So, but I've gotten out of them. It won't be pretty though. I can tell you that. Speed limit is still 30, right? I think it is. I finally found out how to open the heads up display, which tells me which gear I'm in, which helps a lot. It really helps to know which gear you're in so you know which one is next. So yeah. Of course, in real life, I'd already know which gear I'm in because I'd be able to feel the position that I moved the lever. But since there's no lever in this game and I'm just pushing buttons to switch the gears, it's a lot more complicated. Making a right turn enter this red light. I'm not making any more right turns on red in this game because it's really complicated. In real life, I can do it very easily, though. In fact, I have done it. I did that a lot in New Jersey when they allowed it. Because, like I said, making a right turn on red is actually easier than making one on a green light. For me, anyway. Okay, the light's green. I have to move my head to the right so I can look out the side of the mirror and make sure the trailer doesn't hit the curb. Sometimes it's okay to hit the curb, but if there's something on the curb, like a power utility pole or a street light pole or a parked car or a person, then you could damage it if you hit the curb, and that's not good. That looks bad on your record. Okay, when I was in school, they told me to shift up at 1500 RPM and shift down at 1000 RPM, but my trainer told me that in order to save fuel, I should shift up at 1300 RPM instead of 1500, which is actually very doable, and it does make sense because it would save fuel if you did that. One of my trainers was an owner operator, which means he owned the truck that he operated, hence the term owner operator, obviously. Anyway, so yeah, he owned the truck. Oh, did I miss my destination? Yep, I did. This happens to me all the time because the GPS doesn't really tell you how much distance you have before you get to the destination. It just says look for your destination, and I'm like, well, if I didn't know where my destination is, then yeah. I'll end up passing the destination a few times. And when that happens, you have to make a U-turn, but you can't make one in the middle of the street because it's illegal. And if you're caught doing it, you'll get fired. Now, what I'm about to do is something you should never do in real life. What I'm trying to do right now is I'm gonna try to make a U-turn through this gas station. Don't do that in real life, and I'm about to show you why. So, of course, look through the left mirror to make sure the trailer doesn't hit those fuel pumps, because that's gonna be a really bad accident on your radio. You'll probably be fired immediately after an accident like that. So yeah, there's not much room to go around these gas stations. That's why it's better to fuel at a truck stop. And where I work, you could only fuel at a truck stop. They didn't allow you to. You're not going to be able to make this turn. No, stop right there. Now let's see what I did wrong. Yeah, can't even hardly see what happened. See, yeah, I'm pretty much stuck there. I'm gonna have to find some way to get out of that. Probably the best solution. Oh man, there's a camera right on me. They saw everything I did. They're probably looking at it right now, thinking, "What in the world is that idiot doing?" They probably would have called the cops on me if I did that in real life. So yeah, that was a really bad mistake, really bad decision. So yeah, I had to back up to get back out of the gas station. Making a right turn. Watch out for those parked cars. This type of U-turn is pretty much okay. And it's actually a really good idea to use a parking lot to make a U-turn, but it's recommended to use a really big one, like the kind you'd see at a Walmart, for example. My trainer would sometimes use warehouse entrances to turn around at, but not all warehouses allowed trucks to go in that weren't scheduled to make a delivery or pick up a trailer for security reasons. So in that case, he had to find somewhere else to turn around. Is that a BP gas station? Looks like it, judging from the logo. Okay, I'm about to make a left turn onto the place I'm making a delivery to. Okay, making a left turn. About here. Okay, this is the place I'm making a delivery to, apparently. Ugh, left turns are the worst in a truck. especially in New Jersey. Don't ever make a left turn in New Jersey. It's impossible. Like, I was at an intersection once where I had a left turn arrow and I waited for the left turn arrow to turn green. When it turned green, the traffic on the oncoming side didn't stop. They continued to move, and I still couldn't make the left turn. I actually had to wait till both. I had to wait till the light turned yellow, and then really quickly go through that intersection before the next light turned green. It's the only way in New Jersey. Now, I don't know why, but every time I play a tutorial in a video game, I something always goes wrong. Like they tell me to do one thing, and I'm pretty sure I did exactly what they told me to do, but it doesn't let me proceed to the next stage. And that's pretty much what's going to happen here. It's going to tell me to stop here. Oh, that's the mistake I made. I thought I was supposed to stop with the trailer past that symbol, and instead of stopping with the front of the truck there. Okay, so that was a mistake I made earlier. I didn't realize that. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, why didn't it work? I didn't realize at the time because I was still new to the game. I didn't realize that I was supposed to stop with the truck, on top of that symbol. I thought that was where I was supposed to drop off a trailer, even though that would not have been where I would drop off the trailer in real life. That actually would have been the entrance of the building where I would go through a security check and I'd hand in the paperwork and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, logically it didn't really make sense what I thought. So now I'm like, okay, did I stop too far? Maybe I should move further up or something like that. Now what do I do? I'm thinking to myself, it's not working. Okay, I'm pretty sure I probably went too far, so of course I'm gonna try to back up. Well, the trailer's on the symbol. I think to myself, maybe I should, I don't know, detach it or something. So I decoupled the trailer and lowered the landing gear. That didn't work. What am I doing wrong? I think to myself. All right, for now, let's just reattach the trailer. Maybe I need to back up a little bit more. Maybe the tires have to be on the symbol. Decoupling again, lowering the landing gear. No, that didn't work. It still asked me to pick up the trailer. Okay, let's couple it back up then. Well, this what I'm about to do is make a horrible mistake. I've actually made this mistake when making deliveries to Family Dollar stores, where I arrive before the manager is there, and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to try to back up to the store before they get there so that I can already be ready. But I don't know where I'm going because there's no one to direct me to the correct location, and sometimes there are multiple doors because there are more than one store in that location. So I try to back up and I end up backing up to the wrong door. Then the manager's like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to be over there." And I'm like, "Well, now I gotta correct this setup." And a lot of times I actually end up having to like leave the store, go around the block, and come back to fix the issue. Okay, now I'm pretty much worked myself into a corner because I went the wrong way. This is probably where the employees are supposed to park. I've actually made similar mistakes to this, and it is very difficult to get out, and it's very embarrassing. Now, I don't remember making a mistake like this at a warehouse location, but I have made mistakes like this when making deliveries to grocery stores, where I basically boxed myself into a corner, and then I had to get out of the corner. And I'm like, oh great! As hard as it is already to make deliveries to these stores, now it gets even harder because I got to get myself out of this corner. Now I gotta think about what I have to do to get out of this situation. What to do? And I still don't know where I'm supposed to go to make the delivery at all. Where do I go? Of course, later I found out what I was doing wrong, but like every tutorial I make, I always make one mistake like this where I get stuck and can't figure out what to do next. I have no idea why. So anyway, I know that I'm stuck in this corner and I have to get out somehow to make this delivery. I will be able to do this because, well, I'm really good at backing up. In fact, I've gotten really good at backing up after making deliveries for all those grocery stores. I've understood a lot about how the vehicle moves. Unfortunately, not enough to keep my job because I got fired for hitting a store. Okay, so of course I gotta back the trailer out of this. Okay, the trailer's going a little too far to the left, to the right. I don't want that. But that's okay, because now I got it out of that corner, I can just straighten it by going forward. I need to back up at a 90-degree angle on the passenger side, which is really difficult in a truck because when backing up toward the passenger side, the trailer blocks your mirrors, so you can't really see where you're going. And here is an issue too because I might hit that piping and I can't really see very well because basically I can't see the trailer at all on my passenger side. So I have no idea what it's doing on that side. In real life, of course, I would have gotten out and looked to do that, but there's no way to do that in this game. So as far as I know, anyway. So I'm just going to keep backing up. Now I got to make this 90-degree angle backing up. I got to set up the trailer to turn that way. Now, 90-degree backing up is kind of difficult, and sometimes it takes a little bit of trial and error and stuff like that. Not only that, but this trailer turns differently than the ones I'm used to. The tires on this trailer, called the tandem axles, they're all the way back. On most trailers, when I try to back up, I always move them all the way forward first because it makes them turn sharper and it makes maneuvers like this a lot easier. But as far as I know, you can't move the tandems on those types of trailers, and you can't move the tandems in this game as far as I know, and that makes the backing up a little bit more difficult because I'm used to being able to turn it sharper. Okay, no, don't want to hit the piping on my driver's side. Okay, I got the trailer almost. No, stop. Okay, so I almost got the trailer. Okay, no, that's not gonna work. Sometimes I actually have to try something to figure out it's not gonna work. Okay, what do I do now? Obviously, I gotta start over because this isn't going to work. So, starting over from scratch. If I start at a slight angle, it actually will make this a little bit easier because it won't have to be a perfect 90-degree turn. For example, if I can back up at a 45-degree angle, that would be a lot easier. I can actually back up at a 45-degree angle very easily because that you have to do a lot of that when backing up at a truck stop. So I got pretty used to that. Okay, so I'm setting it up at an angle so it's not an exact 90-degree angle, more like a 45. Still, it's a little bit too. No. Messed up. Gotta start over. One of the biggest issues I have when backing up is straightening the trailer when after turning. Because when to straighten the trailer, you have to turn the truck toward the trailer. But while you're doing that, the trailer is still turning until you get perfectly straight with it. And I have to remember that I have to give it enough time to correct for that. I've actually been in a situation like this when trying to make a delivery to a really small warehouse with a really small backing area where I only have a few inches on each side to make the delivery. And I did get stuck in a situation exactly like this for quite some time before I actually got out because I backed up incorrectly, then I got stuck between literally between a rock and a hard place. Then I had to get myself unstuck in order to finish the maneuver. And I'm like, well, thank goodness no one's around to see this because this is really embarrassing. So yeah, this is exactly what I did in order to get out of that situation. Just move a few inches backwards and a few inches forward until you eventually get unstuck. I actually learned this maneuver in backing class when I was driving for Werner Enterprises during my training. This actually helps an awful lot if you're stuck in a situation where there's not much room on either side of your vehicle. All it takes is a few inches sometimes to get it right. Okay, careful. Now let's see where I am. Okay, theoretically, if I turn the trailer a little bit more to the left and then I turn the truck towards the trailer, it'll straighten at about the right moment. Well, actually, right now it's perfectly straight, but if I turn toward the trailer, it's probably going to turn a little bit more to the left, further to the left than I want it. You know, the main issue I'm having right now is that the tandem axles on the trailer are all the way back. This this does not help when trying to back up, but I don't think you can move the tandem axles on a flatbed truck. I don't have any experience driving flatbed trailers, by the way. I usually drive van trailers, which are basically just the types of trailers you put packages in. You know, they have four sides, like walls and a ceiling and all that. Those are the types of trailers I'm used to driving. I've actually never driven a flatbed trailer in real life. So it's actually quite possible that I would have similar issues to this when trying to back one up. Not only that, but I hear that flatbed trailers turn a little differently when backing up. Okay, I almost got myself out of the situation. It'll only take a few very easy maneuvers to fix this at this point, luckily. Okay, so just gotta turn it, kind of. I gotta turn the trailer a little bit towards the driver's side. And as you probably know, when backing up with a trailer, you have to turn the steering wheel the opposite side, the opposite direction that you want the trailer to go, because it will go the opposite way. So if you want to move the trailer towards your driver's side, you gotta turn the steering wheel towards your passenger side. And if you want to straighten up, you gotta turn the steering wheel toward your trailer. It's a pretty easy system, but sometimes it can be confusing, especially if it's early in the morning or if it's late at night and you're tired. In fact, one of my trainers, it was late and he was kind of tired and he was trying to back up at this truck stop. It took him a really long time to get it right. Okay, so I'm pretty much in the clear, kind of. You never want to assume you're in the clear because the second you assume you're in the clear, that's when you hit something. I found that out the hard way. Okay, I know I probably turned a little bit too much there. At this point, I still don't know where I'm supposed to go because this is my first time playing the game. I think I did look up how other people did it, and that's how I found out what to do. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. I guess I'm just thinking about what I'm supposed to do next. No, what am I doing? Even I don't know what I'm doing at this point. Well, it probably made sense back then. Now that I know what I did and what I did wrong, it seems so ridiculous now. Okay, just gotta drive it straight now. customer expects delivery very soon. I've actually had customers call me on my cell phone asking me where their load is, and I'm like, how in the world did you get my number? Like, did, did the fleet manager actually give them my number? Because that is just not cool. I don't want the customers calling me. Okay, I'm back at this thing that I'm still not sure what I'm supposed to do. Oh, it looks like I figured it out. Okay, of course I'm going to select the difficult method because I'm a truck driver and it would be lazy of me to take the easy one. Sorry, I am in a hurry? That doesn't make any sense. I don't remember it ever being an option that you could tell your customer, sorry, I'm in a hurry, so I'm just going to drop the trailer right here and then leave. I don't think they would be too happy about that. And the let's play it safe thing, I don't think that would ever work either. I'm pretty sure the customer's gonna be like, no, I need it over here. If you can't get it over here, then I'm going to call your manager and tell him you don't know how to back up. So yeah, you have to do it the way the customer tells you, but you also have to be safe. Don't do anything the customer. I mean, don't do anything that's not safe, even if the customer tells you to, because it's not a good idea. Okay, so I'm turning toward the area I have to back up in and try to figure out what I'm supposed to do. I think I got a good idea of how to do this. I think I will have no problem backing up in this area. I mean, it's just a 90-degree back. The only problem is there's not that much room, so it's not, yeah, not as much room to play around with. Okay, so right now I'm really just winging it. I'm not even really sure if this is gonna work. What to do? What to do? I gotta turn the trailer really far toward the passenger side, towards my right. So maybe if I turn the steering wheel to the left. Okay, I got my four ways on. Should have turned them on earlier. I think I just found out which button does that. I knew in the past because I played games from the series before, but I haven't played in a while, so I probably forgot. So, no, 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 that's not working. Oh, but I think what I haven't, but that gives me another idea. It's actually weird. Sometimes making a mistake gives me an idea for how to do it correctly. It's like, oh wait, that didn't work, but this might. Okay, now the trailer's facing the right way. Way to go! Now I got the trailer facing the right way. I just gotta sort of turn the truck. Just gotta turn the truck backwards. Okay, I paused the recording because it took me a really long time to figure out what I was supposed to do in order to get this trailer in correctly. I'm still thinking right now. I've actually been thinking for a very long time at this point. Okay, let's try to get this right. The problem, like I said before, I'm not used to driving flatbeds, and the tandem axles are all the way back, which makes it harder to steer the trailer, as it doesn't respond quite as quickly when you turn the steering wheel. Okay, maybe if I go all the way out over here and drive the customer insane and enough to hurl insults at me, I'll be able to do it correctly. No, still not right. Nope, no, 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 no. At this point, no, I'm actually forgetting something that I could have done that could have made this a lot easier. Okay, I hit one of those things. That's another accident on my record. So at this point, I now have two accidents on my record. My probation has been extended. One more accident and I'm fired. And The two accidents that I have at this point, it's going to make it very difficult, if not impossible, to find employment elsewhere if for whatever reason I wanted to leave this company. One more accident and I'm fired, and if that happens, I won't be able to find another job for another 3 years. Sadly, that's the way this industry works. 3 accidents, you get fired. 3 accidents on your record, no one will hire you for insurance reasons. Those accidents stay on your record for 3 years, so it'll take 3 years for you to get another job. Okay, no! Luckily, I did not hit that pole, but I got pretty close to it. Hitting that pole oh man, I hit the pole. Now I have 3 accidents on my record. I'm fired at this point. They're gonna send me to the office in a very. They're gonna actually. They're gonna tell me to take my stuff out of this truck and put it in another truck that I'm gonna have to drive back to my home terminal. That truck is gonna be very trashy compared to the nice one that I've been driving up to this point. Probably because I don't feel comfortable giving an accident-prone driver a really nice truck to drive at this point. So they gave me the worst one they could think of. The gas pedal was shaped like a brake pedal, and the brake pedal looked like a gas pedal. It was very difficult to control that thing. Because the gas pedal was like a brake pedal, and it wasn't really the shape of the pedal, it was the fact that the gas pedal acted like the gas pedal on the car and was extremely sensitive. So I had to keep my foot lifted up at a certain angle to keep the correct constant pressure on it to keep it from revving too high. It was very difficult to control. I feel like they were doing that on purpose in order to punish me. They wanted to give me a very difficult vehicle to handle. So yeah, I would drive that truck home. They would send me to the office for a while, and then I would be waiting my final decision where I would find out that I have been fired. So at this point, I'm not really doing very good. I've been in 3 accidents in less than 24 hours. This must be that must be a new record for the shortest amount of time has passed that you ended up being fired from a company. In real life, the most amount of accidents I've been involved in less than 24 hours was two. The first accident, I was trying to make a delivery. I was trying to park in front of my house, and I hit a tree. The tree branch pokes a hole in the trailer. I actually remember telling them, look, I live in a small town. I can't really park my truck here. The truck by itself is okay, but not when it's attached to a trailer. There's just not enough room. The city was never designed with that in mind. The city was built in the 1700s before trucks were even invented. They didn't have they didn't think about whether or not vehicles that large would have to park somewhere. So yeah, you just can't park a truck that big in a city that small. But they insisted that I had to park the truck near my house on my days off. For some stupid reason, I couldn't simply take the truck to a terminal. So yeah, I ended up hitting a tree because of that. I honestly don't think it's fair that that accident goes on my record because while I was at fault for that accident, you could technically say that that wouldn't have happened had they let me park it in a terminal. So you could say that it's sort of their fault. Okay, I got the rear axles where I need them, and now if I could just get the rest of the trailer angled that way. Not necessarily. Okay, I need to turn the trailer. I need to turn the trailer. The entire trailer. Okay, I think I almost got it. Man, this trailer just doesn't turn right compared to the ones I'm used to having. Okay, I got it. I got it to the point where the game will accept it. But in real life, that would not be acceptable. I need to get it more perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do that. Of course, the game will give you a little bit more leeway than an actual customer. An actual customer is going to be like, that is horrible. You need to fix that. Okay, I almost got it right. I don't think there's any way I could possibly screw this up at this point. Oh no, yes, I think I got it. Oh, why won't I accept it? I'm pretty sure I got it in the space correctly. Okay, there we go. Stop. Okay, it's perfect. Why don't you pop those brakes and put it in neutral and detach the trailer? Okay, finished the tutorial. Okay, now I'm loading another assignment. Unfortunately, I accidentally paused the recording when I was making this assignment, so you're not. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get to see me try to back up in this location. It's really quite sad and irritating. If I ever get assigned to that location again, obviously I will be able to. I'll remember. I'll try to remember to make sure because the enter button also pauses the recording, but it's also the button I have to press when I get to the location. So yeah, I gotta watch out for that. Okay, so I'm still pretty much figuring out how this game works and how to select another load. Okay, that looks like the only option I can select. Okay, it looks like I can select a bunch of trailers to deliver. Of course, I want to choose a truck that's most like the one that I used to drive because it will be the one I'm used to, and the one I'm least likely to have issues with when trying to back up. The truck I used to drive was a Freightliner Cascadia. So, interesting fact about trucks. They have something called a no engine idle shutdown. If the engine is idling for more than 5 minutes, it will shut down automatically. Which is really annoying when you need heat and it's cold outside and you want to keep the engine on for heat. But it's like, okay, 5 minutes, your 5 minutes are up, you guys shut down. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do for heat? I mean, it gets really cold where I live in the winter. I need to have my heat. But companies are like, oh, it costs money to idle, so we're going to shut the engines off after 5 minutes. How do you expect you to get warm in 5 minutes? That doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, I've selected my next job. I've gotten way better at this game, so at this point I'll probably do things correctly. Oh no, it's another flatbed. Forgot to make sure the trailer I was carrying was not a flatbed. Like I said, I have no experience with flatbed. Not, it's very likely that things will go horribly wrong when I try to back this thing up without any training on it. I kind of wish they gave me training on how to back up the Family Dollar trailers because I did not know at the time, but they turn sharper than normal trailers. And it's because their tandem axles go further forward than a normal conventional trailer. And another thing they conveniently forgot to mention was that Family Dollar trailers are apparently 49 feet long. This is really something like that is actually very important to know when trying to back up because I'm used to backing up 53-foot trailers. I actually thought they were 53 feet long, and and there was nothing on the trailer that told you how long it was on the Family Dollar trailers. They didn't have any markings on them like most trailers do to tell you how long they are. It didn't exactly it didn't really look like a 48-foot trailer, but it didn't exactly look like a 53-foot trailer. So I was a bit puzzled about the length, and I only found out when one time when one trainer actually told me what length the Family Dollar trailers were, and I'm like, oh, they're 49 feet long. That would have been important to know earlier. Believe it or not, even 1 foot of distance on the trailer's length makes a huge difference when trying to back up. It's important to know the length of the trailer as well as how far up or how far forward or backwards the tandem axles are. All of that, all of that comes into play and affects the way the trailer backs up. So it's really important to know that stuff. Okay, I'm about to drive onto the highway. Okay, an interesting fact about driving on the highway. When I was in truck driving school, we were told that when getting onto the highway, you're supposed to accelerate and put your turn signal on, and if they don't want to get hit, they'll get out of your way. So yeah, I have my turn signal on. It's really hard to do that while driving in this game, by the way. So I'm getting onto the highway. That car saw me getting on the highway, but he still kept accelerating. This actually happened to me once when I was in Houston, Texas, the road rage capital of the world, by the way. So yeah, I was turning into the lane. The car that was behind me and far enough behind me that I could make the lane change started to accelerate because he wanted to get past me before I made the lane change. I made the lane change and he still kept accelerating, probably because he got mad that he couldn't beat me or whatever. So he rams right into the back of my trailer. Not sure what he was not sure what he was trying to accomplish by that. And he was a pickup driver. I don't know why, but pickup drivers are extremely abrasive and aggressive especially when driving around trucks, and they actually get on my nerves a lot with the way they drive. One time I had to make a pickup driver back up when I was making a left turn. What the world was that guy doing? He got in the left lane, then immediately got back to the right lane. Make up your mind. Anyway, one time I had to make a pickup driver back up when I was making a left turn because he was stopped too far. He was actually past the stop bar. So I start making a left turn. I make him back up, and then I finish the turn. Then he reaches out of the window just to give me the bird, and I'm like, why? Like, you were in the wrong. You were past the stop bar. It's not my fault. I mean, it's not my fault if you decided to stop and pass the stop bar. Like that line is there for a reason, and it's there because if you go past that line, trucks will have a difficult time making a turn there at that intersection. There's a reason why the line exists, and it would be really nice if drivers would understand that and actually use the stop line. It turns out the rumble strips on the road on this game actually work. It actually makes a sound when you drive onto them, which is actually pretty cool. It sounds really similar to the real one too. I actually found out recently that the reason rumble strips exist is for snow plows. It's to tell them where the edge of the road is if there's so much snow on the road they can't see. But they started installing them in other places that didn't have snow when they realized, hey, this actually helps wake up sleepy drivers if they drift onto it. And it really does a good job of waking you up too. If you drive on the rumble strips, you hear a loud rumbling and a lot, and the vehicle starts vibrating a lot. It just feels like everything is going wrong with it at once, like a catastrophic failure is about to happen. So that'll wake you up really fast if you drive onto those. Oh yeah, that road rage guy that was in Houston, Texas. After he rammed his car into the back of my trailer, still don't know what he was trying to accomplish by that. He gets mad at me as if it's my fault. Like he drove past me, and he had such an angry look in his face, and I'm like, why are you so mad at me? What did I do? All I did was make a lane change. You're the one that decided to drive into the back of the trailer. Like, there was plenty of distance between you and the back of my trailer that you didn't have to hit me, but you decided to get on the accelerator while I'm making the lane change. And there was really nothing I could do to stop the trailer from hitting him because my truck was already in the lane when he started accelerating. He was actually trying to get between the truck and the what's it called, the emergency lane to get past me, but the tip of the trailer hit the nose of his truck and it knocked him off the road. Well, it didn't really knock him off the road. He just slid sideways a little bit. It's really hard to use the steering wheel in this game sometimes. The mouse helps a lot, but there's still a few complications, like when you have to use the turn signal. I don't know why, but whenever I let go of the accelerator on this game, I have a hard time controlling the steering, which is not how it works in real life, actually. Not at all. If I let go of the accelerator in a real truck, it doesn't really change my steering at all. Okay, I'm making this exit. You're actually not supposed to stop that quickly, but you can't. I don't really have much control over the brakes in this game. Like I can't choose how hard I step on the brakes. It's just you press the brake button and the game chooses how hard you step on it. Usually based on how long you step on it. No, 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 no. Ugh, I hate when people do this. Why don't people understand that trucks need the left lane when making a 90-degree right turn? Like what? Like I knew that even before I became a truck driver. So what? So what's your excuse? Of course, when I was a kid, I used to play Truck Simulator, so that's probably part of how I already knew. Not to mention, I actually did read the truck driving manual, the CDL manual, before I learned how to drive a car, because I wanted to learn what the other vehicles that were on the road had to face while driving with the type of vehicle that I'd be handling, which would be a car at that time, and I wanted to know how I can avoid making their situation more stressful. So I read the CDL manual to see what are some issues that cars tend to what are some issues truck drivers tend to have when driving with cars, and I tried to prevent those issues as much as possible. I really wish other people would challenge themselves to do that when they learn how to drive. Read the CDL manual as well so you can see what you're doing wrong when you're driving around a truck. Steering's a little bit jerky in this game sometimes. In real life, this zigzagging motion that I'm doing with the truck is actually kind of dangerous. If I'm not careful with the steering, if I'm not careful with the steering, I could end up losing control and sliding off the road. So this kind of zigzagging thing is unacceptable in real life. Oh, look at that, a Burlington Northern Santa Fe freight train. Does this game actually have railroad crossings too? That would actually be kind of cool. Freight trains actually go fast on this side of the country. I was driving parallel to one once, and I was driving alongside it to try to see how fast it was going. It was going 70 miles per hour, And I'm like, man, they really fly in this side of the country. Why did they go so slow in the east side of the country then? Because clearly they're capable of going that fast. I think the issue is on the east side of the country, there's more curves and it's more congested. Okay, the zigzagging is starting to get a little bit more violent and not good. This is not good at all. Oh, I hit the sidewalk. That's also really bad for my control. So that made it worse. On the older version of this game, if you crash into the power utility poles, nothing would happen. You would just hit it. But in real life, trucks are actually strong enough to knock those down. So whatever you do, don't hit those power wires. They can be such a pain when driving through a city. I don't know why, but people who build these power utility wires, they insist on letting them sag so much that a truck can actually hit them. And I'm like, why? What is the big problem in making them taller? Like, are you really like? Is it really too much of an inconvenience to make the power lines tall enough that a truck can fit under them? That you must make them that low to the ground. That one time I was driving on a curved section of the road, and the power line was so low that in order to avoid hitting it, I actually had to drive on the left side of the road to avoid, because it was so low I could actually hit it and knock it down. Oh, I'm trying to pass this truck on the left. Doesn't look like I'm fast enough. Well, actually, it's not that I'm not fast enough. The speed limit for trucks in California is 55 miles per hour. No matter what, if you're caught going any faster than that, it's a $1,500 speeding ticket, or however much speeding tickets cost. They're really expensive when you're a truck driver. In fact, every single ticket you can possibly get is more expensive when you're a truck driver. There was one time when a truck actually passed me going faster than the California speed limit, and a few seconds later I saw him getting pulled over by the cops, and I'm like, well, Murphy's Law, anything you do to try to make you get to your destination faster will actually slow you down. He thought he could get faster by going past me, then he ended up getting pulled over. Oh, what happened? Oh no! Ah! Okay, now I have 4 accidents on my record. Good luck getting a job with that many on your record. I don't even know what happened there. Like, did I lose control or something? Probably all that zigzagging motion caused that. So I lost control, and then I ended up hitting a guardrail. So I probably damaged the front bumper of the truck pretty well. I probably also damaged the front right headlight because I hit the crash barrier. Actually, trucks are actually capable of destroying crash barriers to the point where you can actually plow through them. So that was actually dangerous for me to do that. I could have gone through that crash barrier and rolled off of the road, probably down a cliff or something, or whatever was on the other side of that crash barrier. So that would actually be a very terrifying situation in real life. Okay, so I have 4 accidents on my record, and even though you didn't see it because I accidentally paused the recording at the end of this while I was trying to make the delivery, I got a 5th accident because I accidentally hit a parked trailer. Yeah. And then I got a 6th accident because I accidentally hit a mound of dirt. I accidentally shifted gear too high. That's why it's slowing down. Okay, I gotta make a left turn to get back onto the highway. Oh, what happened? I don't, I don't know what happened there. Just a sudden loss of control. What is that? Why does that keep happening in this game? Probably happened because I tried to use the turn signal while driving again. The problem with that is you have to look away from the screen to actually press it on the keyboard. Because I have a really small keyboard, so if I just try to wave my finger over it, it's going to press the wrong button. Okay, turn signal on and start accelerating. If they don't want to get hit, they'll get out of your way. That's what they told us when we were in truck driving school. I'm not really sure if that's correct, though. Pretty sure that you can't just jump onto the highway. But that's literally the only thing I've ever been told during training. Okay. Okay, let's see what this is. Well, I'm gonna make. Oh man, I didn't realize it at the time, but apparently I'm speeding. I keep forgetting. Well, I passed a sign that says the speed limit was 65, but I keep forgetting that in California, if you're a truck or a trailer or a car with a trailer, the speed limit is 55. Probably because they're overzealous and they're so overzealous there about environment being environmentally friendly, and they try to lord over you with every little thing you do, trying to force you to be environmentally friendly. They're tyrants over there in California when it comes to environmental laws. Like, what is the worst that could possibly happen if my truck goes 70 miles per hour? Well, besides the obvious thing, if I could crash and then it could be really terrible. But, like, if the speed limit is 70, there shouldn't really be anything wrong with me going 70 miles per hour. As long as the pavement is dry, obviously. You can't go that fast in the rain, obviously. But yeah, there shouldn't be anything wrong with me going 70 if that's the speed limit and if the conditions are normal. But for some reason, those tyrants in California insist on making you do 55. And 55 seems very slow. Like, it takes forever to get to your destination in California because of how slow they make you go. Speaking of speed limits, how fast can a truck go? Well, it's actually physically capable of reaching speeds of at least 85 miles per hour. But don't ever drive a truck that fast. That would be a really stupid idea and it's really dangerous. Even even if the speed limit says that it's 85 miles per hour, don't go that fast. Never. In fact, my trainer told me not to go any faster than 70 miles per hour because anything faster than that, you're just wasting fuel. Because the truck only has 10 gears. At 70 miles per hour, it's revving at 1500 RPM. At 75 miles per hour, it's revving at 1600 RPM. So you're wasting a lot of fuel to go that fast. So it's not a good idea to exceed 70. In most parts of the country, you can go 70 miles per hour in a truck. But where I live, the speed limit for most highways is 65 miles per hour, so that's as fast as I'd be able to go. Okay, making a right turn on a yellow light. Technically not illegal. I mean, you can turn on red here. There was no sign that said I couldn't turn on red. Of course, if the light had turned red before I made that turn, I would have to stop first. Okay, I'm putting my four-way flashes on because I'm checking the map and making sure I'm at the right place. Right now, you can't hear it, but there's a truck behind me, and he's blowing his horn at me because I'm stopping. Even though there's plenty of room for him to go around me. I'm not sure why he's so mad at me. I'm like, you're the one that decided to stay there instead of going around. Speaking of which, one time when I was driving a truck in Newark, New Jersey, there was a car in front of me, and she stopped in the middle of the traffic lane in order to go into the grocery store to buy something. When she got out of the car, I blew the horn at her. Like, what are you doing, lady? Like, why are you stopping in the middle of the road? You can't do that. You gotta stop parking in actual parking spaces. You're gonna go inside the store to do something. So I blew the horn at her. And then she just gives me the bird. And I'm like, Oh yeah, I forgot. This was New Jersey, where no one is considerate of anything. Oh yeah, I missed the place where I had to turn to go to make the delivery, so I'm making a U-turn. This would actually not be a good idea in real life for this in this specific area because it's like mud or something. Actually, if it was a dirt road, it would be okay. I've had to make deliveries in places where it was just paved dirt and no actual asphalt pavement. So if it's just dirt, then it's probably okay. But mud is definitely not okay. However, you should be careful with dirt because one driver actually told me he parked his truck on a dirt area and then but the dirt wasn't strong enough to support his truck and he sunk in it a little bit and he couldn't get the truck out so he had to get it towed. So I wouldn't recommend driving in the dirt if you didn't have to. Okay, there's the place I have to go. I missed my turn earlier. Probably because my GPS told me to look for my destination, but didn't actually tell me where it was. Okay, this is going. Oh no, I'm about to hit that street, that pole. I think. Well, I definitely hit the curb. I don't think I hit the pole though. Okay, I guess that's it. What are you doing? Okay, I think. Is this the end of the video?